Yeah, I ain't do a video today, so I'm trying to get one in, and chatting with Daryl Weston again, and I, yeah, I mean, we can have a real long, deep conversation, but I'm gonna try to bang this one out real quick. I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes. That way, it's more clickable and watching into the end. Um, because time is precious. It is precious. But what we were talking about is dark money, and I mean, you have to go all the way back to the '60s, like, and that's where it gets kind of cloudy. And what is dark money? Dark money. Well, let me say it like this: Medgar Evers, and then John F. Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy was Catholic. Was Catholic. So he's basically he was a conservative, right? If you think about Catholicism, you don't get more conservative than that. Back in the '60s, he was the first president to be to be a Catholic. So he's technically the last conservative Democrat. They switch sides all the time. Once he was murdered, and Malcolm X said what he said, and what he was preaching. Well, he was preaching the leftist kind of a movement. That nationalism is white nationalism, so he was preaching black nationalism. They offed him. At the same time, Martin Luther King under John F. Kennedy, they they gave him that dark money. And that's where, shout out to Big C. Big C was bringing it. He shouldn't have took that dark money, and that's where he led black people to be Democrat. And then ever since then, we was all Democrats. So it didn't matter who they murdered after that. King, Robert Kennedy, Fred Hampton. Like my normal list of who we as hip hoppers see as martyrs. It didn't matter then, because now all you're doing is blaming the Republicans as being the right, as being the conservatives now. So that was the actual switch. And that's where the concept of dark money came into play. It's hey, here's some cash to promote us, and you know what I mean. And we've been voting Democrat ever since. I mean, it is that easy. It's simple. And who do you know who gets that dark money? You could tell by the subs, right? That's why Roland Martin got 1.84 million subs. He got that dark money. And even what's this guy? I keep forgetting his name and shit. Whitlock, Jason Whitlock. He gets 548,000 K. He claims that he supported Trump, like he was a Trump supporter. But he probably get it from both sides. He gets that dark, and if it would be for Trump, it would be light money then, I guess, right? Um, like that's how it's supposed to work. But he definitely getting that money from the right and the left. Whereas Royce White, he's straight. I'm a Christian man. I'm from the grassroots. I'm a hip hopper, and I'm trying to run into politics. That's why he only has 21 subs, because he's that grassroots. Yes, he does point at the radical Muslims, but he does give respect to Farrakhan, right? The other two, they don't give respect to Farrakhan. You mean as a black Muslim movement? I mean, I can go on and on about it, but I'm gonna share some Tim Black and let him explain it. Shout out to Tim Black and stuff. It's like a 10-minute clip. I've already wasted too much time. 4 minutes. So I could probably still keep this under 30 minutes. This is like 11-minute clips. So I'm gonna break it in half. I'm gonna play 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna set up, and then I'm gonna play 5 minutes, and then that way I can add my little commentary in the middle there and set up my gameplay and all that good stuff. Cause y'all know I'd rather just play a game. I ain't got time to be fighting and arguing over politics, religion, or scientific methodology, especially if y'all just using it as a false ideology. Like, that's just how I see it. But we're going to get more into that, and the difference between a psychological, a Western psychological ideology and a Eastern philosophical methodology, and then how we sum it all up into that real tautological epistemology. Now, I love rapping about that, but if y'all just want to make it, hey, metaphysics, all right, make it spiritual. It's metaphysics. Okay, believe what you want to believe, right? But we over here, we solving problems. right? That's what real hip hop is about: solving problems, taking it and converting it into a mathematical form, and then coming up with solutions. So we here to build. We ain't here to fight and argue over who's getting paid and who's not, and who's really down with the culture and who's not. So we're gonna get back to building, but I'm gonna go into this quick video, mute this music, and then mute my mic, and then I'm gonna let it roll. Like, you know what I mean?
Got called out for taking money from the Russians. Yeah, they had their hands up and they were taking rubles. Rubles, I don't know, whatever money they use in Russia, they were taking money from the Russians. And they were reporting their media a certain kind of way, and I don't know. It was people like Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and I don't even know what happened to that. What happened to that? Anything happen? Nah, they just kept on taking money. So it's all these conservative white guys taking money on that side. Well, guess what? It appears Democrats were doing the same thing. Democrats were doing it, and even one of your favorite people, Roland Martin, looks like he's on the take. I know you're surprised, right? That Roland would be taking money, yeah, from like Democratic leaning, liberal leaning, yeah. Check it out.
David Pakman has been exposed working with the Chorus Project, which has been paying him $8,000 a month.
It's in the second paragraph. It mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments and had restrictions on what sort of political content creators could produce. That means they're dictating your content directly in the contract.
David Pakman has been scrambling, trying to respond. He came out with a video where he tries to justify everything.
Since this article came out, I've heard from a bunch of you. David, did you sell out? David, is the DNC telling you what to say? How could you do this to us?
But where it gets really interesting is that the following day, he openly admits that he has been working directly for politicians. The hypocrisy here is staggering.
All right, I was not even going to talk about this.
Of course you weren't. You were getting paid not to talk about it.
I was named in an article in Wired yesterday, and the article is about a so-called dark money group.
It's not supposedly dark money group, it is. Had this article not come out, do you think David Pakman would have ever revealed this?
And I was not even going to give this the time of day.
Yeah, right. This is one of the biggest mistakes, if not the biggest mistake he's ever made.
Other creators, like a Twitch streamer named Hassan Piker, were covering this in ways that don't reflect the reality of the situation and are perpetuating falsehoods about what is and isn't going on.
Okay, tell us what is false.
Now, the most important thing to say is that the idea behind this group is exactly what I've been advocating for years.
David Pakman would probably claim that he wants to get money out of politics. Then he turns around and engages in exactly that, claiming this is what he wants to happen.
For years I've been saying the left needs to organize independent media in the way that
For years he's been saying the left needs to pay me to get their message out and to give me guidelines on what to report on. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I've been saying that. Boy, these people are dirty, 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 John.
right has been doing.
Yeah, the problem is that the right has not been doing it this way. There is no centralized network on YouTube. It's messy because it is organic. Feuds erupt because there's not agreements preventing us from talking about what we want to talk about.
The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
Not if they tell you what to say, dumbass. Not if there's any restrictions on what you report. None. That is contract for hire, which is the exact opposite of what you want independent media to do. Man, I can't believe I ever, like this guy, me and him have never been friends. We've never been cool. We never worked together on a single thing. I know people that have worked with him. There's some black people that work with David Pakman who they're supposed to be revolutionary. They're big time progressives. Come on, Johnson, this is...
Because they're organized with regard to online and independent media. They're killing us. We've been so behind.
But it works because it's decentralized.
And this kind of support for creators is exactly what I've been advocating for.
You said that a couple times. Yeah, so there are people there. Let's see if they get to any visuals here, because he roasts the hell out of David Pakman. And David Pakman, he's wearing a different shirt. Let's see if he says anything different.
He openly admits that he has been working directly for politicians.
I'm not going to name names here, but I do think it's important to tell you the story. There is an elected official, House or Senate, who we have been in touch with on the show off and on over the years. And this individual's challengers have been reaching out to me. I would like your endorsement, or at minimum, I would like to be on your show.
So he tries to call up the politician to tell him that, hey man, your competitors want to come on my show. How would you like me to respond to this?
So I reach out to the office of this elected official and I say, hey, just a reminder, David Pakman, you've done the show off and on over the years. We have a relationship. I am trying to get in touch to figure out what is going on, and I want to hear it from you before making any decisions about our coverage so that I ensure that our coverage is calibrated to, is this an open seat?
Listen to this shit. Just the fact he has to talk about it, we know his ass is in hot water. Before we go any further, let me let you know, the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack.
Yeah, let me pause it there. That's close to the halfway mark of what I recorded. Let me see, make sure I'm not getting a feedback on that, on this rap right here. And cool. Let me see here. Let me see what I'm doing. And let me click this here. All right. Because I'm trying different things a little bit. All right, so let's hit that. Let's hit that. Let's hit that. So we'll load that up, and just a quick break. Then I'm gonna run the last 6 minutes of it, and we'll but I mean I know y'all can follow what he's saying and what's going on, and I think I gave a real good beginning to that. The concept of that, and this is Risk. So I'm gonna play a little Risk after I play the last 5 minutes of it, and because y'all know that's what I'd rather do. I'd rather play a video game than sit here and argue with people over politics, religion, and scientific, whatever y'all want to call, whatever you believe science is or whatever, whether it's a ideology or a methodology, if we discover it or if it's invented in our minds, right, or spiritually, like we won't figure all that out one day. But this right here is a very cool game, and I got it up kind of high here, and just running off the take control and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get back into the program. But I mean, what do y'all think? Like, if the definition of dark money was, whenever you put two words together, you kind of change the, colloquial rhetoric or the fundamental definition or whatever you want to believe. The one that I'm dark money. I've been talking about dark Messiah. Whether or not the Lord Jesus Yeshua was dark skinned more so than Roman, right? I mean, he shouldn't have been a Roman. Like, he should have had a different DNA, like, of the people of the Hebrews of the land where he lived at, right? And how did that skin tone change over the years? Like, from the darker skin to a lighter skin, and we get it. People migrate to different areas, and then you become a part of that area, so that should affect your complexion, right? But we'll as the generations go on and on, right? But we're not going all the way back to year zero just yet. Foundational Black Americans, that's 1526. Now, just to go a little political, right? Because that's what the topic at hand is really is a politics thing, and that's what Tim Black is saying. I'm looking at New York, and when I'm looking at New York, they have three candidates. All three of them are quote unquote Democrats, right? Cuomo, whoever the Muslim dude, and the black guy, I don't know. I need to study but it's not my area. I'm from Philadelphia, so it's not, But I should know politics of all the different ones. Eric Adams. So my suggestion is, if Eric Adams was to come out his mouth and say that he's a foundational Black American, we should vote for him. Period. Right? Because now he understands what our movement is. It's a lineage base. It's we are the original Americans in 1776 when they wrote the Constitution, when they came up with the amendments, the 14th, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. They were talking about us, right? Not like us. They didn't like us, but they were talking about us. They were talking about his heritage, his lineage. So if he recognizes that he's a foundational Black American, that he's a citizen regardless, right, of who Joe, or Juan Single, who just came over here, or whatever, right, and that's the ones that Trump and all of the quote unquote white patriarchs are patriots are complaining about is these new immigrants that's coming over here saying and they're doing illegal crimes and everything. So we'll talk more and more about that and those kind of politics and everything, but it should be included in what the policies are and who should be here, who shouldn't be here, and then okay, now we're supposed to be working together to build this nation, not destroy this nation. If we're Black Americans, we're supposed to be helping to build this nation. So that's when it's like, all right, you want me to help build the nation? Cut the check, right? Give me some of that dark money. But then it's I'm selling out because I'm taking money to just promote the Democrats, right? So even if Jason Whitlock is taking money, he promoted he promoted Trump. So he must be getting money from both sides. That's why he only has 500,000, and why Roland Martin has almost 2 million subs, because he's taking it from the dark money. That money to be like, you sell your people out just so that they vote blue no matter who. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep them poor. We talking about reparations, and they don't mention it at all. In fact, they're saying that we're immigrants too. They just because your lineage is here longer than the new Muslims that's coming over, doesn't mean giving you any authority or higher position over them. I need y'all to really think about that, right? So, back to the program at hand. I'll be back with a little bit of risk. And I'm doing good, Tom. I'm doing real good, Tom, right now. So let's see how this rolls out. And 3, 2. Let me move this up first. So I got to do a little. That's why I need new buttons and mute my mic.
That you're doing. Whatever you think the Democrats are calling out. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Dirty business, dirty business, dirty business. And these guys were talking about the right wing doing it. The right wing doing the same thing that you're doing. Whenever you think the Democrats are calling out Republicans, you should always check, because you will find that they have already done with that whatever they're accusing Republicans of doing. Democrats have already done it. They've probably been under the radar. They probably haven't been caught, but you need to look. Dr. Jared Ball and I have had a conversation or two, back and forth a little bit. He put out a clip going at Roland Martin. I didn't know they had beef. That's crazy. Me and Jared Ball had a disagreement. I have no beef with him, but it appears there's some bad blood or some negative situations between Dr. Jared Ball and Roland Martin and Roland Martin's people. Jared Ball, you can find him on YouTube. I mix what I like. Here goes his clip.
Liberal cap on any potential Black revolutionary political movement. From Wired magazine, a dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party line. All they have to do is keep it secret and agree to restrictions on their content. Roland Martin is not mentioned specifically in this article, though I'll show you where he overlaps and comes into this. And I have no overt evidence that he has, how much he has taken and what he has actually signed on to do, although what I'll show you speaks to suggests that there is something there. But I thought about this again obviously when we ever have these discussions about what to do electorally, the pushback we get from Roland Martin and his crew.
It's kind of hard to follow Dr. Ball, man. He goes like one way, he zigs, goes about 2 feet, zags, goes 3 feet, zags, zigs, does the running man, then does the wop, then he starts breakdancing, then he does a backspin, then he goes into the waltz. But it appears, he said he doesn't have receipts on Roland, but that Roland is a part of the shenanigans. Let's continue.
And those who are influenced by that argument, the personal attack is too strong a word, but the personal criticism, inappropriate criticism that I got from Greg Carr all makes more sense or takes on a different context or could be considered differently in light of stories like this. It makes more sense that they would be influenced in that direction at best, at minimum. So let's just look at a little bit of this story here. As Taylor Lorenz writes, in a private group chat in June, dozens of Democratic political influencers discussed whether to take advantage of an enticing opportunity. They were being offered $8,000 per month to take part in a secretive program aimed at bolstering Democratic messaging on the internet.
Guys, this was open door policy. It's a group chat. They're all talking about, hey man, any of us could join up and get $8,000 a month. Add it to whatever we're already making. Just throw that on top. I mean, a lot of people would take that deal. But what's the fine print? What do you have to do?
The deal from Chorus, a nonprofit arm of in liberal influencer marketing platform, and as we'll talk a little bit about, an extension of this 1630 funding project, mandated extensive secrecy and had restrictions on what sort of political content the creator could produce.
Message.
So anyway, so this is in part how the dark money is meant to be used. This is Brian Tyler Cohen here. I don't know these three folks, and you see some more of the influencers here, but there's not much info here. So you can't really, this is a nonprofit incubator learning community for pro-democracy creators. We host weekly technical trainings, but there's not much in terms of the ownership of this beyond it being this guy and, as I said, his co-founder. And then where does the money come from? It's not entirely clear to me yet, at least, but part of it is Act Blue, which I'll show you something here.
30 more seconds.
Watch the video. I'll leave the link but I've basically gone over the headlines as far as I was concerned about what the story is about, and then there's a lot of other details. But you see here's Roland Martin. Yes, and Mary W., you're right. That I would argue that you're right, at least, that a lot of this has to do with the dark money being used to suppress pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel content. But I think
so. Part of what Ball's saying is that he believes that some of Roland Martin's and his group's pushback has to do with their affiliation with these organizations, these big money people, whoever these big money people are, with this Course Network and others, to suppress truly revolutionary type of politics. So they're kind of like getting paid to allegedly getting paid to suppress some radical people that have different thoughts about how politics is supposed to work. And this may influence their content. And if Roland's not a part of this network, why is his picture on this network? If Roland's not taking money from this network, why is he there? He's not in the original article, but he's on their website. If it looked like an op, it's probably an op. Just operate as if these people are ops. They're your opposition. We all know Roland is not for supporting truly independent thought. He's the Democratic Party shield, as in that's his team. That's where he gets his money from. You know, if you go into a department store, if you go into a Best Buy, you see a person in the Best Buy uniform, he's an agent of that company. Doesn't mean he's not a good person. Doesn't mean he can't dance really well. Doesn't mean he doesn't like the sheikies. It just means that's where he works at. That's where his bread is buttered. That's where he picks up his paycheck. That's the way I look at Roland Martin. And he's not going to go against the guidelines of the corporation. And in this case, it's the DNC. It's the DCCC. That's Roland Martin in a nutshell. Now, my differences with a person like a Dr. Ball, I've already decided those, right? Do I think we had those differences because of where he's getting money? I don't know the pressures he has from Morgan State University where he gets his paycheck. At least I think that's where he works. Last time I checked, he's getting a paycheck too. So when people are getting paychecks from entities, they are beholden to them.
All right, so I got 5 minutes before the 30-minute mark. I hope y'all enjoyed that presentation. Of course, I'm gonna put a link in the description and really try to take it to a whole nother level and play a little bit of this risk here, and there it is, But tell me what y'all think. Professor Black Truth also he also had let me make sure I'm recording everything. I can add a little bit more to the video capture, and once y'all hit the like button, subscribe, and share, well, yeah, that's how y'all know I'm not on the take. I only got you know what I mean, do 70. I don't know how many subs I got. That's how y'all know I'm straight up with it. I'm independent. When back in '89, when I first registered to vote, when I turned 18, I registered independent, and I've been independent ever since. But yeah, me and my son was kind of playing this game for the longest time, and I was trying to give him a tutorial on the game and how risk actually work when dealing with the board game, because that's all this is the board game made for, and we was gonna go over some game theory and everything. I'm gonna do one move, and I'm gonna attack a couple places. 1, 2. Should I put all my forces here? I think I'm gonna do that. Or should I go 6? I'm gonna go 7. Cause I'm just okay. I'm just running it off. There it is. So hopefully it'll win. Yeah, I'm saying. Good roll. Took him out, right? So we took over Mexico. Right? I need at least, okay. There it is. I'm doing good, right? Do I want to take one more? What do y'all think? I'm up to 10. I might be pressing my luck doing that. Might be pressing my luck. What do y'all think? I don't know. Nah, I'm gonna chill. That's it. See what they do. I don't know how to end my phase. Zoom in. End attack phase. Let's end. Confirm. So yeah, there it is, you know? And then we'll see. Okay, I got a card. Okay. Fortifies phase. So I think I'm gonna because I want to keep Russia. So I'm gonna keep the 6 in Russia. North Europe, I guess that's Ukraine, but Russia might be Ukraine. We don't even know which one is Ukraine. Like I have to map it up with the regular map, and let's just one troop like that, and confirm. Confirm. All right, so now it's the computer's turn. It's going to do. I mean, what do y'all think? Like, it is what it is, and you know, I can go on and on about it, that bad money, but I'm done talking about it. I'd rather get back into my peace mode, right? One God, our Father, all the time. Hip hop, life, love, one. God is love. Hip hop is life. Time. It's precious, right? It's for myself. It's you know what I mean. It's priceless for me. You know. That's not to say that heaven isn't priceless. I'm going to be righteous to hopefully make it there. And that's what I do. Time is holy, right? So use your time wisely. Stop all that, you know, lying, deceit, hate, and fear. That's corny. Be truth, love, and courage, right? Money is nothing more than a fourth dimensional illusion that really doesn't exist. We'll get more into that later on, because it's hip hop that's the art of making the most out of life. Y'all want to call it economics, thusly making it political, when Biden was is Catholic too, but the more and more you think about it, the more and more you're looking at it, right? The way he went LGBTQIA, he's the one looking like the Antichrist, you know. So I really don't care what he has to say anymore. So because he won't take accountability for, you know, taking over. Like he should have took over Mexico. That's what I did, right? Peace and happiness to you all, okay? One, God is understood. Peace and happiness. And we'll be back with more Risk.